And now we return to the B Repertory Theatre Company's production of The Seagull. We watched The Birds and the Bees.
Ah, the French champagne.
Champagne!
The schlocky movie from this week may be the schlockiest film we've ever seen on this podcast.
I'm Mr. Pink.
Sis Blue.
So Miranda hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Those men's children are all identical clones of Adolf Hitler.
Once they were men, now they are land crabs.
Amanda Bynes is a national treasure.
There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in Driven.
Is there?
Secret Nazis.
Yeah.
Secret Nazis.
Big Daddy lost his eagle.
I hope
So-
no one from my family listens to this podcast.
The Citizen Kane of the week is...
Hello and welcome. Welcome, everyone. All of you to Citizen Kane versus. Hi from me. This is Jack. Over there is... Who are you?
Oh, I'm Sean.
Yeah, good. And you?
Do you guys ever get super conscious of your breath when you're this close to a microphone?
Like my breath being bad and bouncing back at me or something?
No, although I have had that before too. There was one time where I was driving in a car and I was like, what the? I could have sworn that like a cat pissed in the backseat of the car because it was like a sharp piss smell. And eventually I realized it was only happening when I was talking and that my breath was so bad that I could smell it as I was talking.
So this is a podcast where we take one movie.
That was Daniel Benoit, everyone.
Yeah, no, sorry, Daniel Benoit.
There it is.
You just had that can? What the fuck?
Well, no, because as soon as we started recording, I became really conscious of heavy breathing into the
This
microphone.
is a podcast.
Don't you hear it sometimes when
where
you're listening
we
to a
take
podcast?
one movie
Yeah.
that is considered to be more of a classic and another one that's more on the schlocky side, and we ask ourselves honestly which has better or worse breath. So, or which is better. So,
It's a good segue. It's a good way to.
hey,
Is it a
thanks.
segue? Not really.
No, it was like
No,
a more
you worked it in.
non-sequitur.
You worked it in. What is a non sequitur?
I don't know.
A non sequitur is like when it's like a segue that doesn't have a connection, isn't it? Like
I don't know.
I think
I
so.
think essentially.
But isn't a segue when you use one thing to lead into a different topic of conversation?
Yeah, you
It's
build
a
a connective
connecting
tissue.
thing.
Yeah, there's like a connection between the two.
Oh, okay. So I guess that was a segue.
A non sequitur is when you just kind of go like well, what you did with breathing.
Yes,
That
is
was connected though because we're talking into microphones. Okay, anyways,
Yeah, but
continue.
it had
Jack,
a
we're trying to do a
mental
podcast
segue.
here. Can you please stay on track?
Sorry, I'll focus. So we do these two movies and we watch them and then we say, well, here's what we think about them. We have little categories and we rate them.
I'm so conscious of it now.
And then we say which one of them we think is actually better. So this isn't really still a spoopy Halloween week because this is it's November that we're putting this out, but it's still kind of trailing. And
it's
that's
Spoopvember.
and neither of these movies is a spoopy movie. So this week we think we're very clever
Yep, we do.
because someone call it out if you know it. What movies this week? Just call it out if you know it.
You, the podcast listener, call it out
No,
right now.
you in the room that I'm talking. Just call it out. So it's The Birds versus.
I don't.
Daniel's not
wanna
breathing.
miss it. I haven't breathed in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Dan is bringing back his other favorite thing on the podcast, which is bringing in outside jokes
Yeah,
into
that
the
no one-
podcast.
No one has heard but us.
They're not inside jokes for
Also
you and
good.
us. They're just so just don't worry about it. So it's The Birds, the classic Hitchcock, versus The Bees. I'm going to say a classic piece of schlock.
For sure.
Hitherto unknown by all of us.
True. We had to
'cause-
look it up.
Yeah. We kind of said...
Specifically, we went in search of it for this
this.
comparison.
We were like, we should do The Birds on the podcast. And we were like, is there a movie called The Bees? And Sean a second later was like, yeah,
Yep.
there is. Looks perfect. So it's the Birds versus the Bees. I'll hold for applause and laughter at home, maybe.
You, the listener at home, hold for laughter from those around you.
Or just like
Or in the car or on the commute. Yeah.
Mid jog.
Tell that person on the bus next to you what we just said and hold for laughter.
Yeah, and tell them it's the don't want to miss a thing.
I didn't get all the way through the song, so you're the idiot.
Great. So the first thing, so segue. Speaking of me saying that they're not really horror movies, my first question watching these movies is actually like, what? I don't usually like to get too caught up in this because I think a movie should be able to like be what it wants to be and like not be defined by genre. But then you watch movies like these and you go, but what genre? Technically, these are two romance films. You called The Birds a meet cute?
It was a meet cute for the first hour.
Yeah. Even The Bees. The Birds and the Bees turns out to be a romantic film episode.
Yeah, in
somehow?
a lot of ways, I kind of felt like The Bees was an intentional parody of The Birds. It was so campy and so ridiculous that it seemed like it was
barely even campy. It lacked camp.
Oh, there was some camp.
There was some camp.
There was some camp.
That
The
entire
not enough.
the blonde character. The blonde character was super campy. Big Business was super campy.
It's a Roger Corman produced film, so like
Oh, it is,
the camp is baked in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It just wasn't.
It wasn't Attack of the Giant Crab Monsters.
No, it was not.
you wanted to kind of go all the way, and it kind of felt like it was trying to be campy while at the same time trying to be a movie. And you're
I
like,
wanted some like crazy bee related deaths.
There-
Where like there's like someone like trying to like give someone a shave and then bees come in and the guy accidentally slits the guy's throat because of the bees.
Some snakes
like,
on a plane
I wanted
style.
some crazy bee death. And
Well,
we just didn't really get any of that.
I mean, we do have an entire element of the story where the bees are communicating with humans and,
pretty campy.
and opening doors and have
like that.
have like a secret villainous lair.
Attack of the Crab Monsters style.
Yeah. There's like some super campy elements to the bees. But I hear what you're saying. You wanted something more over the top.
I would have cared more and actually bought that more if there were crazy bee deaths.
Yeah.
Because that would actually establish the story better of like they cause real specific like stuff to happen.
What I honestly thought was going to happen and what I really wanted to happen was in that final scene when the bees charge like the UN boardroom.
Yeah.
I
think that's
real
that's
thing.
the like the assembly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the proper name for it, but whatever
it's
it
supposed
is.
to be, yeah.
Instead of our main male character there being kind of the voice for the bees, I wanted the bees to assume a voice of their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Through their buzzing.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like make a face in the sky that's like.
These are all things.
You know,
I mean, if this movie loses, we're gonna have to put these things into how it could win.
I guess. Although I think I'm feeling pretty good about the bees.
Yeah.
The birds was.
So we got an early contender.
Yeah,
in
I think
Benoit
so.
Square.
it's gonna be a weird one for sure.
For sure.
Hopefully
sure.
we can get through this.
I also realized in the watching of both these movies that M. Night Shyamalan is an even bigger fucking hack
Yeah, ain't
than I thought he was.
he? Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean like
Why don't you
happening?
Yeah.
Why don't you explain that for
Well,
everyone
the
else,
happening
though,
is
'cause
just
we
a
get
cheap
it.
fucking ripoff of both of these films, right? It's just like nature fighting back against humanity. Although that's not readily apparent or clear in the birds. The bees, they like outright state it. The birds, you have to kind of
It's
infer
like,
it.
the birds are just being weird.
Well,
for a reason.
yeah, and I mean we can get into like the story of it because I have more questions than opinions, but
It's nice to hear you finally admit that.
yeah, I've never really tried to
Long
hide
time
that.
coming there. So let's, if you're wondering more about the birds and the bees, why don't I? Well, why don't I see?
Please make it like a.
Can I say
class lesson.
I still have no fucking idea what that saying is referring to?
The birds and the bees?
Yeah, I know that it is a weird allegory for coitus, but I have no idea why the birds and the bees is the allegory.
It's because they both come from the same.
Yeah, they do.
No, they both come from the same ancestor.
Because their ancestors banged?
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. No, look it up. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I am going to look it up, but we'll come back to it
I
after.
was gonna make a joke about how bees obviously fuck birds, and then I thought it'd be easier to make that comparison if I could link them back to earlier things where they were more similar.
Yeah, that's why I was like, are bees boys because they sting, and birds girls because they lay eggs? I'm so confused.
It's probably, if I had to guess, some kind of reference to how much they breed or how quickly.
According to tradition, The Birds and the Bees is a metaphorical story sometimes told to children in an attempt to explain the mechanics and results of sexual intercourse through reference to easily observed natural events. For instance, bees carry and deposit pollen into flowers, a visible and easy to explain parallel to fertilization. Female birds laying eggs is similarly visible and easy to explain parallel to ovulation.
Oh.
Well, that's not good.
And it's not easily observable. That, like, pollination is something that I only would have ever fucking understood if someone told me about it.
Sure, but
I would have just been like, bees like flowers. Like, I would have had no idea.
Yeah, me neither. But if somebody explains to me how pollination works, I would then understand the parallel between that and penetrative sex. The thing about birds laying eggs is a little bit more of a stretch, I feel like, if you're trying to explain.
But, like, people have eggs, you know?
No, yes, I understand that people have eggs, but if you're trying to explain how sex works, that seems like it's a little complex of an idea for a kid to wrap his head around.
I'd like to imagine these conversations always broke down, though, that someone broke down pollination, and they were like, this, and like, you as a boy, you can pollinate. And they were like, okay. And like, and also, ladies, they have eggs that they lay inside them. And you're like, so do bees pollinate birds' eggs? And they were like, no, Timmy, don't be stupid. That's ridiculous. And like, but you're the one who brought up birds and bees together. Why didn't you just say birds have babies and so do we? Why did you do this to me?
Use a condom is the only advice that this podcast will. Actually, no, you definitely wouldn't give that advice.
No, I despite my gross lack of ever using condoms, I still promote them.
Fair enough.
I still see the value in them and think that it's a good idea.
Safe sex, everyone.
Yeah, do as I do, not as I. No, do as I say, not as I do.
No, do as you do.
Don't
not
do
as
it.
you
Don't
say.
don't do as I do. Doing as I do is dangerous.
Okay, so if you're confused, here are some summaries of the birds and the bees.
In the red corner, representing the classics. After a guy talks to a gal in a bird store, she tracks him down to small-town California to surprise him with birds. She stalks him and lies about what she's doing there. He insults her a little bit. She has dinner with his confusingly aged mother and sister. It's cute. Then, out of nowhere, for no reason, at random times, to varying degrees of danger and with no explanation, birds suddenly start attacking people. Then, at other times, they'll not do that. The horror. Then, like, 2 people die off screen and they leave. Yeah. Coming in at 119 minutes, starring Tippi Hedren, Rod Taylor, and Jessica Tandy, The Bird. And in the blue corner, representing the schlock. After genetically engineered killer bee honeybee hybrids make their way from Brazil into the United States, pretty contained bits of hell break loose. As the bees rapidly multiply, major cities across the southern states are quickly shrouded in clouds of deadly bees, killing like 40 people. Luckily for our heroes, the old Uncle Scientist guy has been learning to communicate with the bees, so the bees like him or something, but then he gets killed because of corruption. So our heroes go in front of the all-Mexican United Nations to tell them it's time to be friendly with bees or be dead. Coming in at 95 minutes, starring Angel Tompkins and Johns Saxon and Carradine, The Bees.
The Birds and the Bees. This was a pretty painful watch. Mm-hmm. We got through it by kind of laughing at the movies when we could. But yeah, what was your experience, Sean? Because I feel like Jan and I are in a similar boat. How did you do here?
I think I'm probably in a similar boat too. I probably like the Birds a bit more, I would assume. I didn't outright hate it. There's a lot of cool like stuff going on.
Yeah, there was that one shot.
There was the shot. There's also all the like all the bird effects, all the like. It's a well constructed film outside of certain elements. Yeah, I know, Mr. Symmetry over here.
No, it has nothing to do with the cinematography, but we'll get to that too because there's issues.
Yeah, so like probably
Mr. Symmetry over here.
It was definitely
Get
weird.
fucked.
It's weird to see like this was a nice one because it's nice to have something that's considered a classic on that upon watching it is like super flawed, or it's just like not. It's like kind of drags or is kind of boring.
The was it Psycho? Is that the only other Hitchcock movie we've had on here?
Which he made immediately before The Birds.
And I feel like Psycho followed a very similar style of storytelling where he kind of leads you down one path and the story is very much kind of not to do with what the central
twist.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a twist that is like largely unexplained and comes near the very end. And for the rest of the movie, you're kind of watching a different movie. And I think you know what I mean. Like in Psycho, it starts off with following a totally different character that ends up dying like halfway through, right?
Oh yeah.
And then you don't get the actual Norman Bates twist
Until the very end.
Until the very, very end. And it's not built upon or anything. It's just like the one scene and then credits, right?
Yeah.
And this was
I think the twist in Psycho is that your lead is murdered 20 minutes into the film. Your attractive female lead is dead.
Yeah, I guess that's like a twist.
For the format at the time, it's like a revolutionary twist.
I'd be curious to see other Hitchcock movies just to see if that was kind of like his style, because he's kind of looked at as one of the godfathers of horror, right? Mm-hmm. And so far, I don't get it. But I guess it was a different time.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I liked Psycho a lot. But
Psycho was interesting, but still not really a horror film. I guess, but by today's standards.
I think horror evolved into what horror different now, right?
Yeah, sure.
So we're kind of talking about it. So let's get into it. Let's do it, huh? Let's go into our first of 3 rounds, which is story. Good.
Thing sting.
Ving sting.
Or more appropriate this year.
Bee sting.
Story bueno.
Oh yeah.
Well, for this one, yeah.
For the bees. So because we're talking about the birds. Let's talk about them first. So
sure.
It doesn't. I can't decide whether it's satisfying or not. I think it's unsatisfying for me that they seem to hint that they say, oh, this started since you came here, lady.
Yeah.
And it seems, she came with 2 birds in a cage. Mm-hmm. And then the birds attacked their house where they had their birds in a cage. But they also attacked and killed other people, so it's not related to that.
No.
It's just the birds are doing shit, so it's not that.
It just kind of started when she arrived.
It's just happening.
It's just happening.
But then we end... But then we end on them being specifically targeted, which then...
Well, I think the birds were attacking everywhere all at once.
Yeah. Oh. They've blocked off the whole area. Yeah.
Is that how you guys took it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely felt like they were trying to say that they were
like the epicenter.
Yeah. As soon as they introduced that idea, it's hard not to view everything for the rest of the movie through that lens. And I know that
following them, you have to
exactly.
Right?
And I know that the one character who kind of introduces it is fucking batshit crazy. But then at the very end, when they are targeting, they of all the fucking they're not even outside. The birds have come to attack them inside their house, and then they're all waiting. All of them are outside the house waiting for them.
I think they're everywhere though. I think they're all over the land around the bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's 1,648,946,000 birds in the United States alone, or whatever that old lady says.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just think this. Anyway, I think it should have ended with them releasing those birds from that cage, and then they drive away. You know what I mean? Like,
Let them join their ilk.
you know what I mean? That the birds were just like trying to free the birds. Because like, why do they drive away? Like, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
They're going to San Francisco because she needs a doctor.
Thank you, Sean. I'm saying, why do the birds just like let them slowly walk around and get a car
They're
out?
tired.
Sean.
They just did an attack. They're tired.
But that's a good question though. I was
thank
I was
you.
very unclear as to why the birds sometimes were viciously
Citizen Kane
attacking.
after dog.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think probably just to facilitate the fact that you can't just have birds going crazy on set all the time. Like, all the crazy birds are post shots, so I think they just had a bunch of like sleepy birds that they were like, well, we got to shoot something.
Yeah, but then what is the story?
That's what I'm trying to say.
Like,
Like, I don't care what it was. I want to know why they got to
story
drive
is-
away.
Oh,
Well, yeah, if the story is the birds are revolting against humanity, or like it's
I think they're just attacking. Yeah, they're just attacking.
Yeah, but then they're not just attacking. They're attacking sometimes, and sometimes they're chill.
And then they regroup.
Yeah, okay. I get it, but what I'm saying is I don't fucking get it. I don't understand. It's very unclear as to what the fuck the birds are up to besides just sometimes attacking people.
You know, it's based on a true story.
Is it
In-
is it
insofar as
Sean,
what?
Or
Yeah.
are you
Remember-
still being weird?
No. It's based on a true story now. No,
a bunch of Thaiwood birds.
The one guy in the restaurant, he's like, "Oh, this happened last year down in Santa Cruz or whatever."
Yeah.
So I guess in '61 there was like a big group of seabirds that descended upon a town and just started attacking people and like puking all over everything. No one was like seriously hurt at all because they were just birds. But
But that sounds like they all got
Yeah.
infected with something.
yeah, there was toxic algae.
Yeah.
They ate a bunch of shitty seafood and
Right.
went fucking crazy.
Dude, I would have been okay with that being the story here if they had discovered that birds were fucking sick and
So more ominous that we don't know.
No, it's frustrating. It's fucking annoying. It's fine to not know for, most of the movie, but at some point you gotta give some kind of reason or explanation.
It's pretty annoying that at the end it's still like, well, they're attacking right now. Oh no! And right now, they're not attacking.
Yeah, now they're just
sitting
pecking.
there. And you're
Right
like,
now they're just
this
kind of
is
nipping at
stupid.
you.
Like it just became dumb. Like it wasn't satisfying. Like I know what you mean. I craved some sort of cause and effect.
They do. There was some line about something. Maybe it was the old lady in the not the crazy lady, but the bird expert lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, also crazy lady.
Also crazy. Well, just annoying, pretentious lady.
Yeah.
I think she said something that implied that it was a nature fighting back against people thing.
Yeah, she was about to launch into how mankind is the only thing that destroys its territory, its habitat,
Right.
and kind of thing. And before
Right.
she was cut off,
Yeah. So maybe that's it.
the
but then,
groundwork's there.
I guess.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is this movie is making me work too hard. Not
Right.
Well, we'll talk about the other stuff after. But
Yeah, and for like a 2-hour film,
for a 2-hour film,
it's way.
this movie could have been 45 minutes.
It starts with like a really in-depth stalking sequence where our lead
She's just mischievous.
fucking tracks him down up into the boonies of California. And like we have to have a whole scene in it. And I was ready for, like, I thought they were establishing like the people of the town, like, oh,
Right.
we're at the convenience store because later they're going to be shacked up in the convenience store and they're
No,
going to like get
we get the
supplies
schoolhouse.
here.
You get the schoolhouse, I guess.
Yeah, we
You get the
that.
restaurant a little bit.
Sort of a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I was like kind of expecting more of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's why they're doing this. And then it's like, no. She just like, we had to see exactly how she found out the name of his sister daughter, Kathy. By the way, the ages of the family of the male love interest reads as it's him, his mom, and his sister daughter.
Yeah. Him and his mom are roughly the same age.
They're like closer in age than him and his younger sister.
Yeah.
So-
it's strange. And that mom, what a hottie, eh?
Yeah, Jessica Tandy.
Jessica Tandy.
Is that a bird?
Hey.
So let's talk about the story of the bees.
I would love to. Can someone explain it to me, please?
Well, there are bees.
Uh-huh.
I honestly understood. I got more story points.
Okay.
Yeah?
So it was.
Yeah.
It was.
100%.
It was so fucking confusing and messy until the last 30 minutes, and then it kind of all
because
became
of those.
clear.
Because there were scenes that they partially wrote and shot, and then we're like, yeah, this can go in. Those parts were confusing, but the base of it is there's the species of crossbred bees, killer bees and stuff in South America, and they end up coming up into the States.
They get in through the belt that the one that
Yeah, the guy-
Julio Caesar wore.
Okay, but how though? Because they showed a handful on his corpse,
Yeah.
and then there are clouds of thousands of them in the sky.
They reproduce at the rate of 5 billion a day.
Well, no, 5 million a day.
I think it was billion.
It was million.
Pretty sure it was trillion.
It was over. Anyway, you guys are both wrong. But then and then the essence is, then you got to stop the bees.
Gotta
I'm not
stop
saying I
them.
understand the fine details, but the broad strokes try and stop the
Bees
bees.
here, stop
bees
bees.
bad, and we can use this thing that gets them to mate with each other instead of the queen,
Yeah.
which causes them to not reproduce.
They
I
just
guess?
have a bunch of gay sex.
essentially gay sex to stop.
But then there was a moment where the old scientist, what was the actor's name with the fucking
Carradine.
Oh, John
terrifying
Carradine.
hands? Okay,
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
He was like the person behind the idea for wiping out that species.
Hormone?
Pharaoh,
Pherone?
I think it was called. But then he gets murdered, and the bees avenge his death, even though he's behind trying to wipe them out. I didn't understand.
Because they're trying to. It's a non-lethal solution. So
It's
they're not trying to
it's
kill the bees.
non-lethal to any other species. It is still going to wipe out the deadly species.
Well, maybe it's just because he's been the one trying to communicate with them, and so they're like we're.
They need a
smart.
vessel.
Yeah.
Well, they're
"You're a
smart
buddy."
too. They're like, well, this guy's okay.
Yeah.
Even though he's the bringer of their demise.
Yeah.
Got it.
But he's
Kind of.
not. He doesn't. His thing didn't work.
But it would have if not for a freak genetic mutation.
But then we learned that the bees are doing it because humanity is destroying their habitat.
Yeah.
And the bees are now a dominant species on Earth as well, and they've set an ultimatum.
Time of the bees is upon us.
Honestly, man, M. Night Shyamalan shouldn't be allowed to make movies anymore.
Well, apparently after this he should.
No, what do you mean? What do you
Some
mean?
of his
I'll
movies.
take The Birds Over the Happening any day.
I mean, The Happening.
The Happening
is one
was
thing.
fucking
Yeah.
dog
I would
shit.
watch Devil.
Have you ever watched Devil?
I saw it in theaters, baby.
Did you really? Have you seen Devil?
No.
Where they're trapped in an elevator?
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
no.
Oh, dude.
Oh, by the way,
The old lady always did it.
speaking of trapped in an elevator movies, there is a Charlie Sheen starring 9/11 movie about a bunch of people trapped in the elevator in the World Trade Center that I think we probably have to watch and do.
When was this? Not recently. Please tell me it was recently.
I think it's like 2013, 2014, something like that.
So that was right in the middle of his fucking meltdown.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, dude, I would love to watch that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
Whoopi's
should.
in it.
Our lottery schlock pile.
Yeah,
That,
that's
well,
true.
it should be that versus Devil, honestly.
That was on a classic.
Yeah, we need a classic.
Elevators.
Towering Inferno.
Yeah, there's at least one. Yeah, that sounds like one.
There's at least one.
But that's
Shots
roughly,
Part Deux.
do all the parts in between that make sense? No, but I understood what the bees was about.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I didn't get any of that
No.
until the latter part of the movie.
Yeah, well, but
There
that's
was a good chunk where I legitimately had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, they're like that scene between her and John Carradine where they just are moving items around the office while
Oh,
talking
you
together.
always miss that step. What the fuck? I really thought something was wrong with you, but you're fine. Okay, and what? What are we doing
No,
here?
the line
What are you doing here?
she goes, "You have to watch that step," and he goes, "Why? Does it do something?"
Was that was like your best Billy Crystal from Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Why? Does it do something?
Ooh. Ooh.
That
Miracle Max.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
that's just That's just the voice that he does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That is the voice he does.
Look, that's just the voice that he does.
Why does it make you so uncomfortable,
I
Sean?
don't know. It's not my voice to do.
There you go. Saved by the Bell. Anything more you would say about the story of anything here?
Hitchcock has an interesting way. He didn't write it.
No.
No. Okay.
It's based on a short story, I think.
And then someone else wrote the screenplay.
So, acting style aside, I actually found the dialogue in The Birds to feel quite natural and realistic for the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've found that like a lot of movies we watch from that era, I don't know. It's like tell me out here. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Daniel gestures to Sean, and Sean rejects it.
Damn it! Don't shut me down, man. You're supposed to fucking.
That's pretty vague.
I volley to you. You bump it back to me. I spike it into
Yeah,
Jack's
but when
face.
you throw a deflated ball at me, I'm not gonna spike it
No,
back.
everything's just very stylized. Like the way they talk, the things they say. It's very reminiscent of the time and that style of cinema, and I just felt like it felt slightly more contemporary than what I'm used to for the time that the movie was made.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, I could
You asked me to
agree
comment
with
on the
that.
script,
Yeah,
so.
I could agree with that, and I could also say that it's still like meandering, pointless dialogue.
1,000%. I said earlier this movie could have been
a
45
waste of
minutes,
space.
and I like there's so much story that didn't need to be in this movie.
But it is not. Whoop, watch. You've really got to watch that step. Why? Does it do something?
Honestly, though,
that movie's half an hour shorter, and way more. A lot more stuff happens,
And could have been a half hour.
Totally.
I was way more with it at the top of the bees. I'm like, I know what's going on. There's like a husband and son, or a father and son trying to, probably a husband, father and son trying to break into the bees,
Right.
and it gets messed up. But then the people are like, oh no, and like I was like, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with both is that it's all premise, no story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
It's just animal or insect attacks. That's movie. Like there's no it doesn't develop into anything further than that.
Yeah, that's kind of the real link this week.
They're both
Yeah.
love stories, as we
Yeah, they really want it to be about romance.
yeah.
Yeah. And like inappropriate love stories too, because
Yeah.
one is built on a foundation of stalking.
Yeah.
And one is built on one comes fresh off the heels of the woman's
Her last
husband's
bee daddy
vicious murder.
has died.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bee daddy.
Oh,
And
bee
so
daddy.
Franklin.
She finds a new bee daddy, who's in.
At least he was
John
slightly more
Saxon.
age appropriate.
A bonus points to the story of the bees, though, for finding a way to shoehorn in that she comes out wearing his karate.
And no pants.
No pants and
No
his
pants.
his gi, the
Yeah.
top of his gi,
Yeah.
and he's doing
In the
yoga
black belt.
in a tracksuit,
Yeah.
As
because-
one does.
so that he could have a karate fight scene later in the movie, and bless you for that.
Flawless. No notes.
Whereas the Birds loses points for him using a hammer to hammer like a
vanity mirror.
like a vanity mirror to the front door, and then putting it down instead of maybe hitting birds with it.
Yeah.
Minus points for stupid. There were so many dumb things in the Birds that were just so annoying. Arguably dumber than anyway. I guess we end the round then.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, the round's been over.
Great. It's over. So we'll take a little break here. Maybe something will play. Otherwise, we will start talking again in a second. Okay. See you in a second. Hey there. And we are back. So let us get into our second round right away, which is round dos. Produccione bueno? The Bees was produced by like a Mexican company or something. We assume we know.
Yeah.
I think
It
it
was
started in Mexico.
Yeah. So
it was
it's just an inclusive thing.
filmed in and produced in Mexico.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why all of the supporting cast were Mexican actors.
All the other countries at the UN round table.
The Indian consul, the
Oh,
Ugandan
that's
consul.
Fucking
The Saudi
hilarious.
They're all supposed to be Brazilian too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Me no bring devil bees.
yeah.
Oh no, that's a line.
Yeah.
That's a line from the.
It's a direct line reading from the film.
Well, then let's start with the production of the bees. Way better than I thought. I thought it was going to be like all over the place, but they had all sorts of.
I mean, it was all over the place.
Yeah, but they had like real sets
Yes.
They did.
And
like planes and
real bees.
They had real
Yeah,
bees.
they took
They
the
had-
stingers out of them.
They killed a bunch of bees?
I mean, I think only like honeybees are the ones that die necessarily.
I thought it was only wasps or hornets that can survive losing their stingers. Or they keep their stingers, they don't lose their stingers in a
Yeah.
But if a bee loses
I
its
think-
stinger, doesn't most of its
But
insides
they
come
probably
out?
snip it rather than pull it out, right? If
You
you,
think they snipped the
I
bees?
think they went
yeah,
through
that's what the
really?
info for the movie said. They got rid of the stingers from the bees that they used.
Wow, that seems really labor intensive.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
I know,
say it's
right?
really meticulous fucking prop work.
Why would you do that and then also not make a good movie? Like,
Why would you do that and then primarily just use like flinging sawdust
Yeah.
as your
just shredding bee corpses
As
through a snow
Yep, load the.
sprayer.
I spent 90 hours stinging those bees. Great, put them into
Pour
the chipper.
Pour those out into the snowblower. Bee parts flying around on extras.
But that's crazy for the amount of bees that they had, like live bees.
It's probably only well, there were a ton of just like bees crawling on people, weren't there?
Yeah, dude.
Enough that
Yeah.
it was like impressive.
That one scene at the end where they
Yeah.
wake up in the bedroom and it's infested with bees.
Yeah.
That was a shitload of bees.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was impressed how they had a couple shots of those main actors talking with bees like flying
Yeah, the one
in
dude
their faces.
spit a bee from his mouth.
he was super chill about it.
Yeah.
Which
There's no
tracked
stinger.
with his karate
Yeah.
training.
True.
So
true.
I really appreciated that.
True.
Right.
So that was fine.
The music in the bees
The music in the
is
bees.
problematic.
It's a little like A-team-ish, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's triumphant. It is joyful.
Mm-hmm.
It inspires you.
Yeah,
And it's played over horrific mass murder scenes.
Yeah. It's
Like the
fucking campy
bee
as shit.
cloud
Yeah.
spreading. So they're not horror films, right? Like they're sort of monster films technically,
I guess so, yeah.
right?
I don't know. I mean,
Is that what they are?
I would say that the bees is like I think it's supposed to be more of a comedy than anything, honestly.
Hey.
It's like a natural
That can't be
disaster
right.
movie.
Yeah, more of
Maybe
a disaster film. It can't be a comedy. That doesn't make any sense, Dan.
Of course, it makes sense. It's comedic in how ridiculous
tongue-in-cheek.
and.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it a comedy.
Well, how would you classify a movie that's like bright and campy and satirizing a genre?
I just don't think it was that campy. Look, anyway, I decided.
Dad, don't tell me it doesn't make sense. You fuck. It fucking makes sense.
No, but it's not funny.
Yeah, you fuck.
Hey, dude.
Fuck you.
sorry. As soon as it left my mouth, I was like, that was too much. I apologize.
I was ready to pile on.
No. Good, we're opening. Okay, we need to talk about this. That's fine. We can move into this now. I don't know. I thought the bees, like, it was pretty random. The bee clouds and stuff were super random. That bee cave was interesting. I wanted them to have more
I didn't
scenes.
fucking get the bee cave.
Look, we're not
Wait,
talking about whether
it
you
was-
got it or not.
It was the
It was the
hive.
bee brain,
Yeah, it
right?
was the central hive or something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what they set
okay.
up,
Yeah.
and they
Like the
expanded.
Borg hive mind. That's what it
Sure. Yeah, something
Well, I
like
think
that.
they call it a hive mind,
hive.
Dan.
What?
Beehive, hive mind.
No, I get it. I get the reference to bees.
So get other things too, then.
Dude, get off my
The
dick.
birds and the bees. Well, what about
lay
the
eggs.
birds then? There was some cool production in the birds for sure.
Yeah.
The birds. Okay, so
The bird wrangling itself was pretty impressive.
yes, every element, every single thing in this movie went on for way too long.
Correct.
Including the bird attacks.
Yeah,
Everything
every
was too
sequence
long.
of shots was 20 seconds too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like cut in half, this movie would have been way better. The stuff with the birds lost all of its effect and impact by the end of the scenes.
Like the kids running away.
All of it. All of it.
became
The
pointless.
first thing when the birds come fucking barreling down the chimney.
Yeah. You're like, whoa.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But
Overwhelming,
none of the actors,
scary.
like react to it.
But it lasts like 2 minutes, and by the end of and nothing happens.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is that it's just birds flying around, screaming like cats for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Specifically.
It's screaming.
Yeah.
They should have pulled like the old mom up the chimney.
Yeah.
And she like
Or
disappeared.
killed
One of those kids needed to be lifted up and taken away to a
Yes.
nest.
and more death. More
death.
people dying.
More death.
It's not like they were afraid of that. They show one old dude who's been brutally de-eyed
Yeah.
by birds. So
Pretty gross.
So show me more death.
Yeah. You wanted to know about the birds and where they came from.
I did.
The sparrows, I think they caught sparrows out in the wild, and then also had some like store-bought small birds mixed in with the sparrows to bulk it out and have birds that were more like docile and able to be like wrangled a bit better.
Hold on, those are just wild birds?
Yeah, they just went out and caught sparrows.
Fuck off, dude. Are you serious? Were they
They tied their feet to the handle. To the bars.
I don't know about that. The seagulls, they went to the San Francisco dump and just caught birds.
Okay.
Okay, so then I guess my next question is, were any of those birds actually in the scenes with the people? Because you could tell, like, first of all,
There were tons of gulls in those scenes.
How'd they get them to not fly away?
Yeah.
They walked through them.
well, I mean,
Probably
I-
drugged them.
I mean, in the actual bird attacks, because
I don't-
those all looked
well,
really good.
Yes, I was going to bring it up in acting, but as part of what I'll bring up in acting, at one point Tippi Hedren was told that one of the scenes where she's getting attacked was going to be the mechanical bird, and then Hitchcock was like, no, actually, it's going to be a bunch of real birds, and we got to get the perfect take, so it's going to take a while.
And this was her first movie.
Yeah, so he threw live birds at her.
You fuck, man.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrible, honestly.
Yeah. He's not a good man.
Dude, these fucking jerk off directors.
Hey, and it paid off for that long shot of her. My least favorite scene in both these movies
Was what?
is her going upstairs, opening the door and seeing the hole in the ceiling with the birds, and shockingly stepping into the room to see it, and then getting scared and closing the door behind her, and then standing facing the room,
Yeah.
and letting the birds attack her face for the next, as you say, like 2 to 3 minutes. It was
And then
I was
and
yelling
she's
at the
fallen
TV.
on the ground, and he has to like slam the door into her repeatedly in order to get it open.
It was
enough.
so fucking annoying. I hated it so much.
I also want to point out that
fuck.
that scene that is supposed to be one of like the climactic scary scenes of the movie actually only serves to discredit the monster in the movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because she's in a room getting brutally attacked for 3 long minutes and just sustains some like minor flesh wounds. And that's
She
it.
needs a doctor.
She needs a doctor, and she clearly has some extreme PTSD.
Yeah.
But my point is that like under those circumstances, they couldn't kill her. So what is scary about this situation?
Yeah. This is what I was yelling at the TV as well, which is that like they're birds. Like
Yeah.
you can crush a bird with your hands. Like it's not a scary monster. unless
A
you
raven
make-
could fuck you up.
Well,
with the
but-
claws, with the
yeah,
claws
and
and the
peck at your
cock.
eyes and shit like that
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Dude, if you're
I'm not saying birds are harmless. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
if you're in that situation though, this is the fucked up thing too. If you're in that situation in real life, those birds are gonna fuck you up. Like they could
it would
kill
cause
you.
problems. You need to get out of that room.
Yeah, if you're stuck in that room, they're
sucks.
gonna kill you.
There was back in
It'd
the
take a while. It'd be hard for them.
Well, they ate your eyes. Like they did that old dude.
Yeah,
they
they
did
ate
fucking mom's dad. That was all. Again, the age discrepancy of characters in this movie was really fucking weird.
Yeah, she also had a dad.
She also had
yeah.
a dad who was
Grandpa
like maybe
was alive.
younger than her.
yeah, at least the same age. Wait, so is he his sister wife?
Oh,
I think we've discovered the secret to this Bay community.
Hitchcock was a freak.
He was.
Yeah, he was a fucking asshole is what he was.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I lived in Parkdale, there were, near the No Frills, there was a red-winged blackbird that had a nest in like a tree that you had to walk past to get up to the grocery store. And every time I'd walk up there, it would dive bomb you to keep you away from the nest, and it would like hit you in the head.
Yeah.
As it swooped by.
That happened to you?
Yeah, it like knocked my hat off a couple times, and I was like, "Okay, Madam Magpie, or whatever you are, I'm sorry."
Madam Magpie.
Madam Magpie.
That's crazy. I got attacked by a bird once.
Yeah.
I was playing hide and seek as a child on my street, and I was counting against a tree, and just
everyone had long forgotten you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nighttime, and my parents had locked
Cold.
my
Count
mom.
to
My mom had locked
1,000,
me
man.
out.
You'll
Yeah.
Come find us. Yeah.
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 I can't even tell that story. It's actually too traumatizing now, I guess.
The bird.
No, but what it meant for my social life.
Oh.
No, but as I finished counting, I was like pulling off the tree and turning to go and look for what I thought were my friends, and this bird just swooped down and latched onto my shirt.
Oh.
And I was like, what the fuck? And it wouldn't let go. And it was just like, I was flinging so fucking violently, and it was just like stuck on my shirt. And I was like, oh, this bird's going to eat my intestines. It didn't.
Yeah,
It eventually flew away. Yeah.
The
bird story.
The cat sounds were made by like an early synthesizer, a precursor to the synthesizer.
Okay.
The cat sound.
Nailed it.
I honestly thought that they just had cats.
They're
in a-
just
in a-
squeezing cats.
Yeah.
I was confused by that because there are recorded sounds that specifically gulls and crows make en masse.
Yeah, I assume Hitchcock wanted like non-natural sound to make it creepier.
More unsettling, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a stupid idea.
I
That really fucked up a lot of the movie. It would have been better if they sounded like crows and gulls swarming.
I also, while we're talking about sound, I also thought that a really stupid idea was to include no music in
Yeah, what
the
fuck?
birds. It made everything feel infinitely longer.
And not threatening. And they're like
Yeah.
slowly walking by the school, and they're like, "Here's a shot of birds." You're like, "Yep,
Cool.
birds."
Great.
Although when she's having the cigarette and there's no music and it's suddenly just like ravens on the play structure all at once, I thought that was pretty effective.
Well, that
Yeah.
would have been cool if it was surrounded by music in other parts of the film.
Oh, right. Maybe, yeah.
Because
But
it's not special. It's just like
Yeah.
makes it seem like insignificant.
Well, yeah, but I do agree. We all kind of shared an collective moment of like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, that's
And we
That's
were
quite
making
terrifying.
we were making fun of what that moment could be leading up to it.
Yeah.
And then it landed and we were like, oh.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Alfred.
Yeah.
I don't want to say good job.
In that one scene, Alfred. You ever stop and think about what a weird sounding name that is?
How weird sounds are.
I had this conversation with
Alfred.
Marisa yesterday, but like that whole thing when you say a word too many times and then you
Makes no
realize
sense.
that like no words actually make sense, or just a bunch of sounds that we've agreed mean things.
Yeah.
Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say Alfred, but that's wrong.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Alfred Hirschkirk.
Yeah, words are essentially like grunts that we use,
Yeah.
but they're like really specific grunts.
Yeah.
And then you have one for you. You were like Daniel. Daniel.
That
You
actually
say-
is
you
exactly how I
point,
introduced myself.
Daniel.
Daniel Benoit.
And I still call you Danny.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. I really wish you just respect what I like to be
Dan
called
Dan?
once. Yeah, I prefer Dan Dan.
Dandy band.
Dan
So moving
Dan
on to our
Man.
next round,
Yes, please.
the most important round for
Sean's like,
these
please,
movies,
let's just fucking get through this.
which is acting. Good?
No.
Nah, not really. There was like stuff that wasn't way off. Like the main guy in the Bees,
He was acting his fucking face off.
he was
Yeah.
like doing fine.
John
And
Norman. I
John
think his name
Norman.
is. And in the movie, his name is John Saxon.
John
Which
Saxon.
is like,
the Norman Saxon. Sean's history brain is upset.
yeah.
But and main gal also wasn't like
She
No,
knew
she
what
was-
movie she was in.
yeah, but like wasn't fully. That's what I'm saying. Wasn't given
Closed.
like a fully yeah, but a fully.
I really
a
thought
fully
we were gonna
camp
see more of that.
performance,
Yeah.
right? Like it was. I mean, pretty campy, but like she was doing a.
What was that? What word did you use to describe her style of acting?
not fully campy.
It's pretty campy, bitch.
I know. I'm.
We'll play back the tape.
I'm admitting that.
Run it
What's
back.
wrong with you?
Don't deny it now, Jack.
I'm not.
Don't deny it. You said campy. Just
I
admit
did.
it.
Yes.
Just to.
What do you have against this episode
This
of the
is-
podcast?
Oh dear.
Usually I want.
Sean's like, why did I push to record today? Fuck.
So, Jesus. Meanwhile, we have introducing Tippi Hedren in The Birds.
So Tippi was sexually assaulted by Alfred Hitchcock throughout. She was in the tail
This is
end.
real. You're not making
Yeah.
a joke right now. Okay.
She was in the tail end of the phase of actors where you were contracted to a studio. And you had X number of films that you must do for the studio.
Does that not happen now?
No,
Oh.
no. Like you
Not
can
the
have
same
studio
way.
deals, but it's not exclusive. You can still go do other work.
Got it. Okay.
For other studios and production companies. So she was signed to his production company, and he assaulted her a bunch, and then she surmises that her rejection of one of his advances is why he threw live birds at her the next day instead of having the mechanical bird do the scene with her.
Oh, so the sexual advances started right away.
Oh yeah, she was a model and he fell in love with her.
Oh,
And
is
he
she
just-
still alive?
Yeah, she is. And then when she made one more film with him, and then I know, right?
After the birds.
After the birds, and went through a whole bunch of. He refused to let other male actors and stuff be around her or touch her physically, because he was so she's mine
Oh my god.
over her. And then,
Alfred?
yeah, Alfred. Maybe we should just call him Alfred.
Alfred.
In a sign of
Alfred.
disrespect.
Al fuck.
And then when she wanted to go, he blacklisted her and ruined her career. So
Oh.
Did she not have a career
Thumbs up.
outside of those movies?
not really, not in any headlining way again.
So big production minus for Alfred
Yeah.
Hitchcock being involved.
Yeah,
That's because that's part of the movie now.
legend,
That's so fucking
film
frustrating.
legend,
Piece of shit.
Alfred Hitchcock.
So weirdly enough, she didn't give a wonderful performance in this one.
Wonder why. Same as last week or last time with
Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, and Kubrick.
Well, she did give an outstanding performance
Yeah.
though in The Shining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just at what cost. But this was somebody, because Shelley Duvall was already a pretty established actor at
Yeah.
that time, right?
Yeah.
Tippi Hedren.
And the studio system was broken up. So
right.
Yeah, so Tippi Hedren is it's fine in the first scene. She's okay in the animal, the pet
Yeah, she's
store.
quirky.
Yeah, she's fine until she has to act in scenes with any real stakes.
with Jessica Tandy.
Yeah, but that's
oh
it.
my god, man.
She can do the coy, flirty, whatever, just straight conversation thing. But as soon as things get heightened, she's fucking she's floundering.
That scene where Jessica Tandy takes the up to that point kind of stereotypical conniving, intrusive mother-in-law character,
Mother wife.
and actually gives it a little depth and runs the gamut of the acting spectrum.
Yeah.
And then Tippy's okay, yes, oh right.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, it's rough, but she the sister mom is definitely or mother wife. Sorry,
Mother wife, yeah,
as opposed to the sister daughter.
sister daughter.
Who had some quite strong moments for a child
The
actor.
kid,
Yeah.
she did. She sold it way better than Tippe.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I also liked the school teacher lady who died.
Annie.
Yeah. I had a bit of a crush on her.
Yeah.
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 Pretty.
She was pretty. And mysterious. I was like, yeah. I like
Yeah.
you.
So the acting in The Birds certainly does seem stronger, and the side characters do better too. I would say the townspeople are just better little.
They're all unique.
Yeah, they're little
Yeah.
one-off characters are way stronger.
Yeah.
That's definitely where those same characters in the bees are pretty rough, where there's like two guys and like one person, they're like looking at a map or whatever, and they're like, well, what's this? Oh, I don't know, we're supposed to take this and put it over there. Oh, okay. The kids in the park scene, amazing.
Kids in the park scene.
I would say standouts of the week.
And that guy,
What are you doing? Collecting bees for an old guy. What for what? We're getting money for it. How much you getting? None of your goddamn business. $2. Shut up.
I also thought so. I thought the old
Flawless.
guy in
Thank
the
you.
park was the. I thought it was the evil old guy who had hired the assassins.
Right. One of the three
Oh.
conniving
And
businessmen.
he was like in disguise. He was
And he was
Yeah.
like, I need to collect some bees. I'm gonna get some kids to do it. Yeah.
right.
And
right,
he
right.
was like, had this. I thought it was a story. He's like, oh, it helps my rheumatism.
yeah, yeah.
Right? In my
Rheumatism
knee?
in my leg.
It helps. And I was like, that's like a random lie to tell kids to get bees, and they're like,
Yeah.
whatever. Like mainly they're getting money. But I realized not until at the end when it wasn't him that it was just some guy, and then he takes the paper bag of
Yeah.
bees that they caught,
and holds it onto his leg.
and he's like, oop, oop,
They're stinging today.
ooh, and then like starts dying.
Yeah.
I was so
That scene
lost.
was fucking ridiculous.
That there was like, it wasn't a story. You're saying really there was a guy who was like, bees help my knee. The
Yep.
stings are good.
It increases blood flow to the stung site, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's like an acupuncture thing.
Yeah. Natural
I feel like
acupuncture.
I said that word weird.
Acupuncture?
Acupuncture.
Yeah, you did say it weird.
The buds.
Acu-
The acupuncture of the buds and the bees.
But
The buds and the bees.
I would like to talk about the unsung heroes of this movie.
Don't say that dude's fingers.
That
No,
dude's fucking fingers.
Is that what you were going to say? So there's this it's the main
John
gal's
Carradine.
uncle. It's John Carradine.
yeah.
Who is playing some like quirky Austrian man, which I feel like was his own idea or something. Because
I don't know if he's Austrian or not. Yeah, probably
he's like,
not
I want
with
to be
John
an
Carradine.
Austrian man.
Yeah.
And his hands are.
He has crippling arthritis.
He has like the most severe, debilitating,
Yeah.
disfiguring arthritis in his hands that I've ever seen. And like I've seen arthritis, like I had grandparents, like arthritis is in my family, so like my grandparents or great uncles and stuff.
That's your
like,
future there.
oh yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
They had some like wonky hands for sure, but like nothing like the crazy bent sausages
Not
that
enough.
were at the
Not
end
enough
of this
bee
guy's
venom.
arms.
Yeah,
Not
dude.
enough bee venom.
That's true. Bee sting.
Bee stings. Okay, so them's the rounds. That's all we do nowadays. So we'll take another mini break here. Again, either a little ad will play. Thanks. That's gonna make us a few cents. What are we at now? Like what? $9.50?
Just over 8.
Ooh, just over $8.
Sick. 3 years of hard work paying off, baby.
Yeah, it's been. I don't know if it's hard work, but it's
It
been.
ruins my joke when you discredit it like that. though.
Yeah, I don't know. If I would call it discrediting it really. I'm not calling it. I don't know if I call it a joke really.
It's fucking hilarious. You're a piece of shit.
All right, we'll be back in a sec. Alrighty, so let's decide which movie will be the Citizen Kane of the week. So, story. Who do you vote for? Who goes your vote for to? Who to your vote do you give it to be?
I followed the birds way easier than I followed the bees.
I just think the birds lacks a proper beginning and a proper ending and a meaningful middle.
Neither movie has an ending.
That's a fair point.
But the bees gets closer and it has more of a beginning. For me, it's the bees.
Yeah.
The bees, as stupid as it was, it actually like I can tell you what like the core plot of it is, whereas the birds is just like, look, this happened.
Stalker stalks her lover to his vacation home.
It was the equivalent of to me of watching The Happening,
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
and The Happening had more logic in it.
Yeah, that
Than
is
the birds.
That is essentially true.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go bees. Bees had a
Bees
little more
takes number
story,
one.
and it was just more fun, you know.
Fair enough.
Fun.
Fair enough.
So
A visitor
Meow.
from the outside world.
Sean's partner's getting home. Then in terms of production, Aaron, do you want to yell hi?
Aaron.
Nice.
And now it's time for the part of the show where Aaron guesses what happened in both movies, having not seen them. Aaron.
The birds and the bees?
Yeah.
They fucked, didn't they?
Yeah. And
It's true. We found out they're both romance films, sort of,
Nice.
but not really.
and there it is. Hi,
Uh,
Aaron.
So moving on though, so she can just carry on.
Yeah.
Production. I mean, I would want to say The Birds because of how it is mostly better, in most ways. But I am really mad at Hitchcock now, so I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
tough.
it's a tough one.
It would be a clear the bees winner for me if I knew whether or not it was like a group of people from the film who de-stingered all those bees.
Yeah.
Because if it was the production that did that, then it's a clear win for that. That's just a monumental effort.
Who else would it have been?
I don't know. Maybe you buy de-stingered bees. Maybe that's a thing you can do.
Can you buy bees?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, of course you
Buy
can.
anything, Dan. Have you met the world?
Yeah, I guess it's a fair point. Is it like a black market thing, or is there like a thing like a pet store and buy bees?
No, it's for farming. They're a farming thing.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So neither one of you guys
so-
have a decision.
I'm a bit loosey goosey.
Okay.
I kind of hate Hitchcock, so I want to say the bees.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's tough to vote.
I'm going to throw it to the bees, yeah, just because Hitchcock's a jackass. Also, did he really punch that one bird at one point? Because that's also shitty.
I feel like there were some prop
Oh, they
birds in
definitely
there.
hit some birds for real though.
But how many bees died in the wood chipper?
I mean, so
I guess, no, you can go.
well, the bird scenes in the birds
Yeah.
were superior to the bees scenes in the bees,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
But
That is true.
The bees had that epic fight scene, which we did not talk about.
I mentioned that it was justified in the story.
Right, but we didn't talk about how glorious it was.
It was
It was-
decent.
it was good.
I said out loud that it was not the worst thing fight we've seen.
But and it had some like pretty good deaths, and we didn't have any deaths. We had one death in the birds.
But a lot of them were off camera, which is
We
lame.
had 2 deaths in the birds.
Who was the second death?
The
Old man and then the
the
teacher.
father.
Oh, the
brother?
teacher. Right, the
The
teacher.
father
teacher.
brother and then
Yeah.
the
father brother.
the teacher,
Yeah, but both were off camera. We didn't see anybody die.
which is lame.
Super lame.
And also in the birds, they had that production like to do more stuff with it, but they didn't.
I wanted
And there was
more
no
birds on
music.
fire. More birds on
Birds
fire.
on fire and bird. Yeah, no, it's
Oh, but the music in the bees is so terrible.
Yeah,
It's
but at least there's
comically
music.
bad.
music.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's not cut and dry for me.
Yeah, but fuck Hitchcock.
Should we come back to this round?
Fine, acting.
Okay.
Acting is the birds.
It is the birds.
Acting is the birds.
Acting is the birds.
100%.
Then the bees is a production for me.
Yeah.
Bees is production.
Yeah,
Who won story?
bees.
Bees.
Shit.
Yeah. I think
It's 1-1. What did you say in your heart of hearts, Daniel?
I think in my heart of hearts, production goes to the birds. That's an impulse decision. It's not. I don't know if it's based
Go
on
with your
any
gut.
real
Jack,
reasoning or rationale.
it all lies with you.
Yo, fuck the birds. They never had anyone die from birds.
Okay.
And it was pointless, and I hated so much of this movie. Bees.
All right. Well, there you
And
have
fuck
it.
All
Hitchcock.
right.
Fuck Hitchcock. That we can collect all together now. 1, 2, 3.
Fuck
Hitchcock.
Aaron agrees.
Aaron does agree.
So that means technically,
Hitchcock!
Yeah.
that should be if we ever do a new opening trailer. That's gonna be.
Hitchcock.
Yeah. I think we all hit the same kind of like yeah.
Yeah.
So with a score of 2-1, the Citizen Kane of the week is...
See this brown bag? Well, you see, I got a little problem with my legs called rheumatism. It hurts. It hurts all the time.
Yeah, so?
You might not believe it, the bee stings makes it feel better. So what I want you to do is to take this paper bag and catch me 4 or 5 bees. Bring them to me. But don't let them sting you. They can only sting one time, then they die.
Okay, you got a deal, but shove over the bread first.
Okay. $1 now, and $1 when you bring me the bees. Good luck.
Hey, what you guys doing? What's it to you? Catching bees with some old jerk. You're putting me on. What do you mean, catching bees? No shit, the old guy's paying us to catch him some bees. Yeah, how much is he paying? None of your goddamn business. $2. $2 for bees?
Well, do you have any luck, boys? Let's owe you another $1. Now we're going to see if this is going to work. Oh! Oh!
The bees. The birds. We kind of touched on this, but let's versus it real quick. How would you fix it?
More flaming birds.
More flaming birds.
More death and better explanation as to why the birds are so angry.
Yeah, there needs to be.
I don't need an explanation.
You don't really at all.
Some things are unexplainable.
I could.
Off.
No, the thing is, I could deal with that more.
Yeah.
If like they like lean into that more.
Yeah, if the birds were just viciously murdering people.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
sure.
Like, just lean into it, and just you can explain it by being like, you can have the bird specialist being like, they're not supposed to do this, and someone just being like, but they are.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, that's the story. They are.
Also, where was the bird shit?
I know. I wanted more bird shit on the corpses. I actually thought about that. And I
Yeah.
wanted like shit on their foreheads and like this kind of thing. And I need more crazy bird related deaths where they cause a construction site to go out of hand because they fly into the crane. Like I wanted crazy bird shit. Specific bird
fly into the eyes of the wrecking ball operator who they murder him in the position where he looses the wrecking ball and it comes in and like knocks over a huge wing of a building that's being constructed and like 600 people die.
So what's the director to do that kind of crazy?
Michael Bay.
Would it be Michael Bay though? You think?
A modern birds. It would be Shyamalan to try that probably now.
Sure, give it. Ari Aster's the bird.
Yeah. Ooh.
What did Ari Aster do again? Did he do the
like Midsummer and
yeah. That would be a very different.
I want to
would
see
be
birds
good.
flying into like it's like on the fishing boat and like the birds like fly into the little cabin at the front of it and it's like what and you just like see like the boat like you hear shit and like you see blood and you see the birds like flying out with like the head. Like,
well, I was gonna say, I straight up want to see them like carry a kid away, and then a bunch of birds like swarm the kid in midair, just fucking tear it
there's
apart.
Like and
yeah.
He's just gone.
Yeah.
Or like taken into the trees.
Yeah.
You know, like and then you just see birds fly into the trees.
Yeah.
And like you'd be like,
holy fuck.
Like and this movie didn't do that at all. It's not scary.
Yeah, it's not scary at all.
It's not scary. It's not even like
the
vaguely
suspense,
intimidating.
Like, and Hitchcock's not a like, oh, that's scary kind of director now, but like he's the suspense king.
Yeah, it's not even suspenseful.
Yeah, I mean the suspense wasn't even there at all. They could have like again because we sit on everything for way too long. That's the thing too. We cut this movie in half.
Oh yeah, trim it down.
Yeah,
add more crazy bird killing scenes. And make it like a tight 100 minutes tops.
Yeah,
100 minutes tops
with credits.
And more people have to die of our group, of our main group. We need at least the guy or her to die.
Yeah, or the mom.
The mom for sure. The mom for sure has to die.
Yeah,
and the kid needs to almost die.
The kid is like in the hospital. The kid gets attacked. The mother has to die. and the two people, the
mom-
two hotties,
and the
make it
daddy
out
brother
alive.
like dies trying to save her. Like
at the
The
very
mom
end.
has to die
Yeah.
because she walks into her room and her dead husband's like sweater is floating in the air, and she's like,
Yeah.
"You're back! Oh, I love you!" And then the birds drop it and they descend on her because they've been like holding it up and flying it.
That's a
No,
fucking
yeah,
sick
there it is.
idea.
No, she goes and she just like slips into the cardigan and they
Oh,
put it
yeah.
around her and then
She accepts
then-
her fate.
you know
Yeah.
and then it's this kind of thing.
Yeah.
She doesn't even resist it though because she wants to be with her dead husband.
Yeah,
so she
like,
allows
give
the
us
birds
some,
to
like,
take her.
Weird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like make birds a strange psychological. I was so let down with how this movie didn't
Deliver anything?
deliver anything.
Yeah.
Fuck no birds. Like it's a bad film. So crazy bird. Yeah, that's it. Cut it down. Crazy bird things. Maybe don't have like a random 20-minute stalking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like lean into it because they get rid of her being a like kind of deceiver pretty quickly. Once the bird part starts.
Well, she's not a deceiver. She's just like a prankster. She's just like a fun,
Yeah,
like,
she's a rich girl
free spirit who
has
does
never
whatever she
been told
wants.
no, yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Do it,
Yeah.
but have like you know how like a Shaun of the Dead like teases the zombie outbreak
Yeah.
before it happens. You see it in the background and this kind of thing. It needed that, right?
Yeah.
Where like when she leaves with the two birds in a cage, the birds in the other cages like freak out.
Maybe that's the director. Was it? But no, Shaun of the Dead wasn't Edgar Wright.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's an Edgar Wright thing.
And Edgar Wright's birds would be fun too.
That'd be fucking fun
Where
as
it
shit.
goes quirky. Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, what we're describing of, like, the
that's where
sweater
you
and,
get
like, that's
all those
Edgar Wright's
crazy
birds.
birdsy ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Edgar Wright, please remake the birds. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that kind of stuff where she's like on the drive and little stories keep happening and it's on the news somewhere else and it's this kind of like looming threat wouldn't feel weird, or yeah, just something, little things. You see some dead like livestock and you're like, what the fuck's that about, or whatever, because they mentioned livestock. No, that's in the bees.
Yeah.
Anyway, that would fix it.
Yeah.
Same actors, honestly, I don't care.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever.
None of them break the movie.
Also, mess up Tippi
becomes
Hedren's
close.
hair.
Yes.
That was so annoying.
Yeah.
Mess up her hair.
They do at the very end when she's attacked by hundreds of birds.
Kind of. When she comes down, her hair is kind of done again, and then
That
she has a
is
cut
true.
on her face.
Yeah,
It's
but she's
really
been
annoying.
hanging out with the mom who like pampers her a little bit and brings her back to health through a little mani pedi and facial.
Yeah, the mother sister-in-law.
The mother sister-in-law.
Also, didn't they tease that she was like someone was getting a bird because it could talk?
She was
parrot?
gonna get a couple birds for someone she knew. Her mom.
she's like, "It'll
for
talk,
her
right?"
mom. She
And
was
she's
getting.
like, "You train it to talk,"
Yeah, and she taught them dirty words.
which felt like an annoying tease that there should have been a bird who talked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the parrots, but the talking birds should not be consumed by the frenzy. They should actually be like a sentient step above the other birds. You know.
And they don't like communicate well. But
They warn.
They could just be like,
Watch out! Watch out! Look behind you!
"Run,
Run! Run!
run!" And you're like, "What?" Like,
Fly, you fools!
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gandalf. Great. So there you go. That's how. It's pretty easy versus for this one. Just fix it. Just make it. Just do the actual movie. It's like not rocket science. You hire the same team. It's all good. It's all good. Just like do it. And also don't throw real birds at the.
Yeah, don't just go and
Don't-
don't
Yeah.
get wild birds.
Don't foster
That part's kinda funny.
an atmosphere of terror for your lead actor.
Yeah, don't like
Yeah.
sexually assault your stars.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
Or anybody.
Yeah, how about anybody?
Yeah.
How about don't?
Yeah.
with
Full stop.
birds also.
Yeah, the birds is also a problem.
Yeah.
So next episode we will be doing a sort of, not even a sort of, exactly a gangster themed episode.
It's like kind of a gangster theme.
It's
pretty
Public
gangster
Enemy
themed.
versus Gangster Squad.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to be funny, Jack.
They're gangster movies.
It's going to be a black and white film, Daniel.
I think I've seen Public Enemy is about I almost said Al Pacino. It's about
It's about Al Pacino.
Dillinger, I think.
no, who's the other well-known mob boss?
Al Capone.
Al Capone.
Is
Isn't
it?
it? I think so.
Oh.
Oh no, am I thinking about The Untouchables?
Yeah, The Untouchables is
I'm thinking
about
about The
Capone.
Untouchables. I have no idea what Public Enemy is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's about John Dillinger.
Great.
There you go. So tune in next episode.
Yeah, we're getting some Gosling on the fucking pod.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Emma Stone. them together again at first.
Yeah, we never had them on before.
I think that's also maybe their first. No, what was their first film together?
Was that was before La La Land?
Before La La Land, but they had didn't they have a
something
big
like that.
film? Oh, Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was that before or after that?
I want to say it's before Gangster Squad.
Okay, Crazy Stupid Love, then Gangster Squad, then La La Land.
Then La La Land.
La La Land.
La La Land. Land
Yep.
with the stammer.
Yep.
Great. So those are the movies for next episode. If this episode wasn't too unbearable for you, please do tune in again. Don't don't comment, don't tell your friends.
Yep.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't.
Just don't. Maybe let's sign off with our best bird sounds. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Best bird sounds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Actually, that's kind of a bird sound.
that is
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
bird
it's
sound.
not
I
bad.
wish there was one of that sound in that fucking movie.
There it is.